Well,
I
as
know what I'm
Grant
doing.
Cardone says, if you're hanging on to something for a long time, then it doesn't really matter because a 10-year investment over, the chances of that going up are,
Yep. Buy real estate and
you
wait,
know,
right?
yep.
Exactly.
So
yeah.
if you can rent it out, but he's always talking about location. Has to be, in a good location, you're always going to be fine if you can hang on to it.
Yeah.
And at least rent enough to cover your payment.
Oh, yeah.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Break It Down with Braydon. I'm super excited. I've got Lauren Hunt, Carly Nenn, and Audrey Myers with the agency group at EXP Realty. Thanks for joining me today, ladies.
Thanks
for having us.
I actually met Carly at a golf tournament a couple weeks ago. Shout out to Kyle Sebastian for connecting us. He's a lender with VIP Mortgage and just a great guy. Been buddies for a while, and so thanks for connecting us.
We crushed it that day.
We did.
by the
We
way.
absolutely crushed it. I think we were, 10th place, something like that. But it was,
110th, I
100
think.
in the hearts, I think. Yeah. So tell us a little bit about the team, about the agency at EXP. How did it kind of form, and how you guys got to where you're at today? Why don't we start with you, Audrey?
Well, I might have to defer to Lauren because I just
just
joined EXP 3 months ago. I am thrilled. It was such a good decision for me. But I will hand the mic over to Lauren to talk about that first.
Lauren, I meant to say, how did you get to
That's
EXP?
okay. Put me in that hot seat. You already said you were going to, so I'm somewhat prepared, but not at all at the same time. So I used to work with a lady named Lisa Copeland about 10 years in the car industry in Austin, Texas. And I was with Berkshire Hathaway and Russ Lyon before EXP, and she called me out of the blue. I had just made the change over to Russ Lyon. And she's like, I have an awesome opportunity. Tariq El Moussa and I have partnered, and we want you to start a team in Scottsdale. So, of course, when Lisa Copeland calls you, you answer the phone and you say, yes, ma'am. Whatever you're doing, I'm a part of it.
Yep.
So she's a pretty special lady, and I know she's very smart. So anything that she's doing, I know it's going to be great. So.
Very cool. And how about these ladies? How did you meet them?
So I met Carly through friends. We've been friends for a while. And Audrey I actually got introduced to through another agent. Who had come to an EXP luncheon, and he knew when he met Audrey, he's like, oh, you and Lauren are going to get along great. You guys are going to be a great team. So he introduced me to her, and we hit it off right away. Lisa came in town. She's, fell in love with Audrey as well. So we just said we had to have her, and we made her join us.
Very cool. And it's been 3 months it's been?
Yeah, 3 months. I'm doing well at EXP, and they just provide everything that other brokerages don't provide. The stock options, the revenue share, and really the collaboration of everyone is what attracted me to EXP. Obviously, Lauren is amazing as well, but just because it's publicly traded, we have a lot of business coaches. We have Elena and Grant Cardone. We have people that we aspire to be, and we have all this free training. So it's super awesome that, we all want everyone to do well because we want the company to do well. And then I brought Carly on as my assistant slash whatever she likes to call herself, teammate, buyer's agent, my go-to. So, she's just dove right in, and she just has a positive attitude, and she left her job full time with physical therapy, and she's my right-hand girl, and I love it. Yeah. I'm having so much fun.
Very cool. You mentioned earlier when we were talking that you guys have some new investors that you're working with. Tell me a little bit about how that's going.
Sure. So ours, mine, I have an investor that I met, funny enough, through getting a massage. That's his, I know you guys are going to laugh. It's not that kind of massage, but it's his side business. He runs a lot of businesses, and we just started talking, and he's like, oh, you're in real estate. I build houses. And I didn't believe him. I just thought that was a line. No, he really builds houses. So he and his son, who's in San Diego, they build homes in San Diego and Arcadia. So we have at this point 4. One is built 4136 East Glen Rosa, and the other 3 are in Arcadia Light. So we have them. I'm working with a high-end luxury builder as well. We're meeting this week. So his homes are like 10 million plus. So we're super excited to get going on that. another investor, I actually met through a recent listing, and he bought 22 condos last year.
Oh, wow.
So we're working on, hopefully he owns a majority interest in a lot of these buildings here. So legally, he can force the sale of the remaining owners. So we're hoping to get a lot of units purchased. And I met a good commercial agent as well. So she's going to help train us on investing in like apartment buildings. So there's a lot going on.
Very
We're
cool.
excited.
Yeah,
We're
sounds
more
like
than
you-
just the average sales
Yeah, we do everything.
Braydon.
I think real estate investment has just been kind of our niche lately. Like
Yeah.
even like first time investors, like I feel like we're all good at just finding those like fixer uppers
Yep.
that are gonna make you money, those deals. We're good.
Yeah.
She's amazing at negotiating, but I think that's been kind of like our
So is that kind of what you're looking for? Is more like fix and flips, or are there Airbnbs, or what kind of
All the
investors?
above
All
at
the
this
above.
point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're fix and flips. A few VRBO, like I'll let you speak to, but Carly just got under contract.
Nice.
Tell them she got such a deal. I literally was like, I think you need to walk away from this. And I never do that. I don't like to lose. She like was a rock star. You got to don't tell the address, but tell them tell them what you got on it, because it's under contract.
Oh, I love it.
So I got a house for one of my investors, and I mean I've been licensed for 6-7 months, but like I'm not afraid of just going after it. So I took my young investor to see this house. Too much work for her. Totally get it. So now I sent it off to our investors and a couple of my other ones, and I was like, hey you guys, like this is a really good deal. Like if you just put an addition on it, like you can sell this and make like a grip on this, right? So I sent it off to a couple investors. 2 were interested. 1 decided to make an offer. We didn't get our offer accepted, but I begged to be backup. So first offer backed out, and she was like, heck yes.
Yep.
So we got our foot in the door. So it was listed at $425. They accepted our offer as a backup at $410. And I was like, okay, cool. Like, what a deal. This is amazing. Deal already. So my investor's like, that's not good enough.
In this
It's-
market, yeah, for sure. Yeah.
He's like, that's not good enough. And I'm like, what do you mean it's not good enough? Like, we got it down to 410. He's like, financially, he's like, it's nothing personal. Just, I need it down to 385. And I'm like,
Yep.
oh my gosh. I'm
yeah.
like, seriously? And he's like, I don't mean to put you in this awkward position, but if you want this deal done, like, let's just try to negotiate and just see what happens. I'm like, all right. At this point, he had 5-day inspection period. We're on the last day. He called over an AC guy, and the AC guy was like, no, it just needs routine maintenance. We're like, oh my goodness.
Give me something.
We called a roofer, and the roofer said $300 in repairs. Is that like 2 shingles? Like, I was like, what? Like, this house is like a rundown house. So I'm like, I don't have a leg to stand on. So I call the agent, and I'm like, it's plumbing that's, like from day one of this house,
Yep.
right? So I'm like, well, the plumbing needs a ton of work. We didn't get an inspection, right? But I just knew that it did. I was like, the roof needs a lot of work. Like, not really. So I'm like, my investor just financially wants this down lower for it to make sense. Otherwise, we're walking. And she's like, you've got to be kidding me. She's like, I just had an offer fall out. Like, you guys said you're going to take it as is. And I was like, trust me, I know. It's nothing personal. It's just
Yep.
a financial
Yeah.
decision. And so she's at her daughter's birthday party. And she calls me back at like midnight. Like, I'm like stressed out. I'm like sweating, like going back and forth. And she calls me at midnight and she's like, you got yourself a deal at $390. And I'm like, what? So yeah, we
Another
got
20
this.
grand off. That's awesome.
We got this deal down to $390, like right in Old Town. And man, I can't wait to see this done. But
I didn't believe it. Yeah, I was like, maybe you'd get 4.
She's like, walk away.
I'm
And
like,
I was like, yeah.
this is insulting, but she made it happen.
Oh my
And I never
goodness.
say that, so I was like, wow.
That
I
was
was impressed. I'm like, yes, I hired the right girl.
that was a fun one. Yeah, last week it was bananas.
Yeah.
So miracles are
Congratulations.
happening.
That's awesome.
Miracles are
Deals are
happening
still
right now.
happening.
Yeah.
Already
Yes.
crushing it 7 months in.
I love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
Bless.
Yeah.
Negotiating deals and making them happen.
Oh my gosh.
Good job.
Under a lot of stress.
Lauren, I know Audrey mentioned that you do some Airbnbs or VRBO stuff. You want to talk about that a little
I
bit?
do. Well, I do my own personal investments as well. So when I, bring in newer agents, I always say, I think the most important thing moving forward is to set yourself up as well. And when you're an agent, you're seeing the opportunities firsthand, right? So not only for your investor clients, but for yourself as well. I think that's super important. And so from the beginning, I started setting money aside of my commission and putting it towards getting rental properties. And, I kept kind of leveling up in this market. I'd buy one, kind of fix it up just enough,
Yep.
sell it, buy another one, fix it up just enough. And so I started doing the Airbnb thing I'm actually more of a long-term hold,
Okay.
long-term tenant person now. I
Yep.
had a couple of not so fun stories, and I shouldn't be. It's just too much stress for me, even having somebody manage it for me. So, I
That was the
personally,
Airbnb, VRBO route.
yeah,
Yeah.
I personally am not a fan of that for myself, but I see the money that it makes other people, and if you can stay detached enough from your properties,
Yep.
I think that's the route. But I'm not detached from my properties, so.
Can you give us an example of one of those horror stories?
Oh God. So it was actually my personal home that I was living in. I was very proud of it. I had just gotten it finished being furnished. All the furniture was brand new. I mean, I decked out marble backsplash, nice outdoor furniture, and I put it up for, a 30-day rental, which I thought, will bring, a certain, type of person or, very peaceful people. I ended up, a friend of mine brought these people in and they were supposed to be just a couple. It was a couple. They show up at the door with 3 kids and a 90-pound Bernese Mountain Dog when I had said no pets. They had nowhere else to go. And of course, my heart, I'm like, okay, just give me a bigger, deposit.
Yep.
I'll have you clean it. I'll have you pay to clean it with the cleaning ladies, once a week, who were reporting back to me every week and giving me, not horror stories, but
Yeah.
basically telling me, listen, like,
Dog hair everywhere.
yeah, it's not
and,
good. So sure enough, at the end of that 30 days, there's like a 4-hour window before the next people come in for the next 30 days. So I go in there and I'm like, it smells like wet dog so bad. And this is a brand new house. So I already was like, I can't do this. It's too much for me. But I did do another 2 months of people who were also, one guy had 6 kids. I think people with kids need a bigger security deposit than people with animals.
Yep, that's
It's pretty aggressive. So at the end of these 3 months, I was like, screw it. I'm going to list it for sale. And that house still smelled like dog. 3 months later, I had it sanitized. I had it cleaned. I had all the mattresses sanitized. I mean, it was
Yep.
just not for me. So
And so, how have you seen the difference between your long-term versus your Airbnb? Just a little bit more due diligence on your tenants. And
people have a little bit more respect. I think they know that it's a long-term relationship. They're not
gonna
just
be
in
living
and
your
out.
property too. It's not
Yeah.
like they just trash it and be out of
They're
there.
committed. They're like, okay, we're going to take care of this place. And so that's the way to go in my mind.
Yep.
I've been seeing that a lot with my investors, that they change from the newer investors are very attracted to the VRBO because the
noticed,
return is
yeah.
very,
Oh wow.
but then they find that, the cleaning and the turnover, and you have to manage it, or if you have a company manage it, like their fees sometimes can be high. So I've had a lot of people that would just very steadily, like, it seems like you're not making a lot up front, but you're getting that long. I mean, some tenants like want to renew for like 3 years, and I'm a lawyer, so it's funny because like I'll get advice like, okay, I think I'm going to renew this for 3 years, and I never recommend that because you never want to tie yourself into somebody. So you want to make sure that they give the notice, and you negotiate a higher rent, because you never want to lock them in to a lower price because the market's going to change. And
You never know when you want to sell.
yeah,
I saw a house on Zillow the other day that had a lease booked until 26. I
Yeah.
was like, wait, what? You're selling this and you got a lease in it for another 5
yeah,
years?
that's the
Like,
landlord to have if you're a tenant.
Yeah, right?
Yeah, right. I'd be like, get out,
Really?
get out. You're not paying enough.
What's been kind of some funny things you guys have had to overcome lately?
Oh, man.
Carly?
Do you want to start?
There's a long
Give us
list.
a parenting story.
Oh man, a parenting story. We actually did family photos last night, and so we literally passed my daughter from male to male as she spit up on everybody.
Aw.
And it was like the worst thing ever because we were all just like wiping off all of our spit up marks, and I just literally passed her around from my dad to my brother-in-law, back to my dad to me, and she just kept spitting up on everybody. So that was a lot of fun.
Aw.
That was our fun parenting story from yesterday, I guess.
Extra security
there's a
deposit
new one,
for you.
Yeah.
Extra security deposits.
Yeah.
I actually had an Airbnb for a while that I had a dipper stay in the unit. So he literally dipped tobacco.
Oh.
He drooled on the first mattress.
He's a drooler too.
Yes.
Oh.
He
Wow.
apparently
How's
would
that?
fall asleep with
Yeah.
dip in his mouth. So then he drooled on the mattress. Then he moved to the other bedroom and ruined that mattress with also drool because he apparently didn't want to smell the dip in the other room anymore.
Oh my goodness.
Ruined the couch from dip, and then he didn't know that a garbage disposal works, and so then he backwashed the dip into the dishwasher. So it was the most disgusting
goodness.
thing ever. So,
He's a newbie dipper.
So we need to put that in our lease
not
language
saying
I
now.
don't know, but
dipping.
whatever.
No
it was
dipping.
just disgusting. So I ended
No
up having
dipping
to
on the
sell that
mattress.
place, and that was
When you said
nasty.
it, when you said a dipper, I like didn't know where you were going.
I'm
with
like,
that.
Yeah, I don't
I'm
know.
gonna
I was like,
pretend
did he not
I
pay
know
his
what
bill?
that is, but I don't.
Another thing with that unit, actually, the neighbor lit his unit on fire.
Oh, wonderful.
So yeah, that was cool. He was placed in his
But
housing.
but hey, everybody still buy some rentals.
Yeah, right. By single family,
It's
okay?
only 1%.
By single family.
It's never
This
happened.
is like
Yeah.
it's like half of the 1%.
This is very rare. This doesn't happen that often. Yeah.
These were like these were Sunscape condos. So like.
Oh yeah,
I
I know
love
those.
those,
Yeah.
Not like a bad area of town or anything. By any
People
means, but
are-
it's just,
Well, I
The
will.
price
unique
doesn't matter.
situations. No.
Yeah.
The price doesn't matter, and I will find with tenants, it's like, I don't know why people don't do this. Like, you have to call the prior landlords and referrals and stuff, because it doesn't matter how much money you make. Like, I mean, I've had problems with people that have never rented before, because they have a hard time answering to someone that's, they don't like doing what the landlord asks them to do, so they wouldn't have them access to the house. And again, these are horror stories, so please go out and buy some rental properties. Arizona is the hottest place. We have the highest rent at this point, and it's growing so much more than home prices. So people don't realize that. Like, your monthly payment's going to be much lower than
Well, I think
a
that's
rent.
probably why a lot
Yeah.
of people are transitioning to more long-term rentals, just because where rents are right now.
Yeah,
You're getting enough
exactly.
return. You don't need to go do some
Exactly.
crazy
Right, and-
Airbnb
Yeah.
and pull out some crazy
By the
numbers.
time you pay for somebody to manage it and all the costs associated with cleaning and this and that, it's like, for me, the bottom dollar was actually almost the same, because I was also a gated community, and you worry about the neighbors complaining and trash in the street, but the bottom dollar was pretty close to the same. The rents are so high right now that it makes sense to just have
Yeah.
that peace of mind.
Yep.
So
You brought up communities. What's your favorite community in town?
as far as like where would I love to live?
Yeah.
I mean, I think Silverleaf is beautiful.
Sure, that's okay.
I like
guess.
DC Ranch. I like Wingate Ranch. I actually really like McCormick Ranch too.
Yep.
That's where my daughter's dad lives. So I don't want to be too close to him, but um, other than that, I mean, there's a lot of great neighborhoods. Arcadia is awesome. I think it just depends on where you're at in your life.
Yep. Good point.
So
Do you guys have favorite communities or?
I'm
neighborhoods?
nothing against HOAs, but they're sometimes out of control. So I'm a non-HOA person. I like 85254 in Scottsdale. I actually bought a house in March. I settled with a little bit of an HOA because it gave me everything that I wanted over at Manzanita Ranch. So it's like Shea. Don't stalk me, Shay, and 92nd Street. So it's only $88 a quarter, but I have a 2-car garage, and I have a little RV gate, a pool, a little bit of mountain views, 3-bedroom. So it's everything I need, and high ceilings, because you're not always going to get that in certain parts of Scottsdale.
and you've remodeled it yourself.
And I
too.
remodeled it myself. That
Which
was a whole
makes it
other
special.
story.
Yeah.
Was dating someone at the time, not dating anymore. So if you want to test your relationship, remodel a house with somebody.
She's single. She's single
So
though.
I'm single. We all three
Nice
are
plug,
single.
Carly. Always looking out.
We all three have different types, so it works out when we socialize. We're not fighting over the same guy.
Nice.
But we need to know what this drooling guy looks like. So
Yeah,
you can
I'm,
swipe,
I'm,
no,
I'm
swipe
not
left
interested
on-
in the
He is out of
drilling
here.
guy.
swipe left on Hinge
Yeah,
Girls.
He was here from Chicago.
Is that which way you go when you don't like
Swipe
somebody?
left.
Well,
She
so he was
already
only supposed to stay
deleted
for
her
a
out.
month, and then he broke his leg hiking, not Camelback, but like Piestewa Peak or whatever. Broke his leg. He had to be helicoptered out, and he was like on the news and stuff. I'm like, that's my tenant, and he like told me about this whole thing. So he ended up to stay for another 3 months because he's like where he wanted to do his medical stuff because his brother was here.
We have enough
Hopefully-
info to
yeah.
figure him
Yes,
out now.
Yeah, exactly.
Hopefully
It's
they
crazy
write it
story.
down.
He's probably my type.
Yeah, it's probably her type. I hope they didn't spin him like that lady. They just settled that case. I'm like, I would have got her more money.
I saw that.
Like,
That was crazy.
yeah.
She was just spinning around.
I'm like, I would have got her more money. That's,
Yeah,
sorry.
Audrey, the attorney
I
over here,
apologize
too.
to her attorney.
Carly, what's your favorite community?
I would say Arcadia. So
Yeah.
right now I live in Scottsdale and Shea, and I absolutely love it. But there's going to be a time and place where I don't want to be there anymore.
Yep.
Arcadia, like our new flips, it's like such a cute little community. It's no HOA, back in nowhere, like off side streets,
Where's
big
the flip?
enough.
Oh gosh, we have several.
4136 East
the
Glen
one-
Rosa. Come by it.
4136. Yeah. So like we have one that's a little south of Indian School on 40th Street, and then we have 2 Fairmont and like 42nd Street. So they're
Fairmont,
all
36.
4 within that Arcadia light,
Yeah.
basically.
The
Yeah.
hottest.
The hottest.
Hottest.
I
The lots
went,
are a good size.
Yeah, I went to one of the flips this morning because I was showing at Glen Rosa and couldn't get the door open. So I literally like, and I
Show us again one more time, what'd you do?
kicked it, and I kicked it. I kicked it 2 times, and then I looked around. I was like, okay, the cops are gonna get called. So I'm like, I called my client, and he's like, yeah, like the door's kind of stuck, and like so. Maybe you'll have better luck.
You gotta tell
later.
your broken toe story.
Oh, I
because
have
it's just a
I
risk
think it's
at this
broken. We had the EXP Con event.
We're all
like
a liability, by the
Yeah,
way.
we're
always
like,
hurting
we're our own
ourselves.
I don't know if I can
show.
hang out with you guys anymore.
We're like
Yeah.
selling
time.
Sunset, except like a little poorer than that, and a little bit more drama, and
A little bit more rugged.
We get injured a
A
lot.
little more rugged is a
Yeah,
good term.
rugged. I don't know where they shop, but
Less
they
ditzy,
need
so
to
it's
start
good.
taking
It's
that
good.
money and investing it in properties. We're like a little smarter with our money. Sorry, girls. I'm offending
I'll tell my
Heather.
wife they
I'm
have to be
offending
sponsored
Tarek's
by, like, Louis
wife.
Vuitton
I'm
or
sorry,
something.
Heather.
They all look amazing.
Yeah,
so.
they all look amazing.
Yeah.
I'm literally like, wow, like I'm never gonna dress like that for showings. Like I applaud them. Yeah. So, what was the question?
Your broken toe story.
Oh, my broken toe. Okay, so EXP Con, it's like basically a yearly event, party, like conference, basically. Like
Yep.
everyone, we have like
It was in
60.
Vegas this year, right?
It was in Vegas. We have 65,000 agents, 70,000 agents, like globally.
Mm-hmm.
So everyone's invited. It was so cool. I got to see my friends from a Miami event I was at. So even in 3 months, I've done so
Cardone
many
event.
things. The Cardone 10X
On a
event.
yacht that you went
on
to,
a
yeah.
yacht. That was cool. The private plane, flying by.
Doesn't sound terrible.
It doesn't sound terrible.
Yeah.
So the EXP Con event, I was there with some friends from Miami. She has like a social media guy who like follows her around. So like just gets footage. So she does reels, and I'm literally like, this guy is like dedicated. And we're going to lunch, and we're jaywalking and running across the Vegas Strip. And I'm like looking at Christina's guy like, wow, wonder how much she pays him. Like, this is crazy. He's like running backwards. And all of a sudden, like they're flats, and like the flat like flies in the air as I'm like running, and I like try to catch it midair, and it didn't work out so well. And my toe did like a nosedive, and I'm pretty sure I broke it and like hobbled across the street. So like, I got to hang out at the pool like that day, the next day, and iced it. And
If only he got footage of that.
if
Yeah,
only he
right?
got footage.
That
He
would've
didn't
been-
get footage of it,
Yeah.
so he needs to step up his game. And so I have a broken toe, I think, and she had a same story why she couldn't be at the event,
Yeah.
for one.
Why were you not at the event?
Well, I'd like to
Dun,
first
dun,
of all
dun.
announce I have a 6-year-old child, so that's my
Oh, good
excuse for
Good
everything.
excuse, Lauren.
Yeah.
You get to use it too, Braydon.
Milk it as you can.
Yeah.
You deserve that.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like telling people you're pregnant, like, well, I'm not, but if you are pregnant, use that as your excuse for everything. Like, I can go home early, I'm pregnant.
Yeah, yeah.
I don't have to do that, I'm
today. I'm
pregnant.
sorry, I had to go home.
Yeah.
Everyone's like, oh.
So it was a series of events, but I burned my arm first. My daughter had left a crayon in the oven. She was playing hide and seek with crayons around the house. And I went to make cookies thinking I'm super mom on a Saturday morning. And I preheated the oven without checking it first, which is a big mistake. Like, you're supposed to check the oven no matter what. And all of a sudden, Lexi and I are sitting there. I'm like taking pictures of her making cookies, so happy. All of a sudden, I smell black smoke. And I go and open the oven, and a huge puff of smoke comes out, sets off all the fire alarms, and there's a purple crayon sitting across the top of the rack. And of course, my first instinct is to grab it and
Oh,
pull it
nice.
out. Idiot. Like,
Yep.
but the alarms are going off. Lexi's on the counter. I've got all this stuff going on. So I pick up the crayon with my hand, and it wasn't the paper that was hot, but the wax, obviously,
yeah.
inside was melted. So it exploded all over my white walls,
Your
my...
hand's not burnt.
Oh, it's all up my arm.
Okay.
Yeah, so I have burn marks all up my arm. That's just the beginning of this story. And then I ended up doing something else throughout my back, and I tried to rebook my flight for a later time so that I'd have more time to make my flight.
Throw it out your bag.
Oh,
No.
I was
Coloring.
Well, let's come back after happy hour and we'll talk about that.
Yeah, exactly.
no. I was being a single mom and picking up a very heavy rug by myself because I didn't want to call a man over to do
Is
it.
that what we call it? Picking up rugs?
Yeah,
All
right.
Anyways,
And then Carly, you've had your fair share of stuff.
When don't I do
I
dumb
missed my
stuff?
flight. That's the end of the story.
Carly is so funny because she's literally like, okay, like we're trying to like do a client event, and like I hate like planning events. Like I love contracts. I love negotiating. I love being with my clients, happy hours. And like we're planning an event. So Chicago Title and you are helping with this event. And like, anyways, like I just don't want to be doing it. And I forget where I'm going with this. But
I mean, there's not a day where I don't do something
oh
dumb.
yeah. So anyways, so she's
It's
like,
just-
she's literally like follows up. She has to follow up like, we sent an email and they're like, have we got a response on this yet? And I'm like, we just asked like 30 minutes ago. And she gets frustrated when people don't DocuSign the contracts like quick enough. So she's like, this person viewed the document and didn't sign it. And I'm like, okay, you're going to have to calm down, you know, and
No.
it's so,
It's a huge thing.
it's so cute though. It's so funny because it relieves stress from me because I'm get to be stressed at times trying to do so many things because your day is never the same. Like things are always changing and you know, I work out and I have like 20 text messages and 5 missed calls and now I can forward it to Carly.
just put out fires all day, but if you don't DocuSign in 0.5 seconds, like I lose my mind.
Well, Lauren, why don't you tell us a little bit about the makeup of your team and kind of how you developed these ladies and where you got to where you are now?
Well, I always say like attracts like. I've been very fortunate to meet these two ladies across the table from me. It's having the same mindset, same morals and ethics, same drive. But that's a testament to our upline also. You know, we say upline because, you know, EXP is a company in which, you know, the people above you do make money off of you. So everybody's invested in your success, right? So our upline, we have the founder of the company, Glenn Sanford. We have the co-founder, Brian Colhane, and his wife, who are here in Scottsdale. They're amazing. They're such supportive, awesome, great people. Right below, he is the man. We love them. His motto is, "We do the coolest shit. You can too," and it's true. It's true. So we have him. Then we have Haas Pratt, who's the listing boss. He's an author as well, a business coach. He does Zooms every week for people in our group, our organization. Under him is Tarek El Moussa, who is involved. He does trainings. He has his own website and portal for trainings. Under him is Lisa Copeland, who's the ultimate lady boss. She's Fortune 500 company speaker. She is just the queen of building your own brand. If you're on one of her Zooms, you get out of there and you're like, I'm going to accomplish the world today. She is just a fire. And she's got Texas all over her. She's got the Texas hair, the Texas makeup. She's just stunning. So we love her. And then under her is me, and then under me are these ladies. And I think that it just creates this camaraderie in this community that you can't really compete with. And anybody that joins, you know, EXP under a different group, they always ask, like, what do you guys, like, I wish I had joined you. But they can't unless they, you know, leave for 6 months and come back. But everybody sees that we all really actually like each other. You know, we do fun things together. We do happy hours. We do, you know, team planning. We're all like-minded. I feel like I like every single person in our organization. So we have, you know, team get-togethers once a week at least. We do Zoom calls. What
does that look like if you wanted to join the team or join the downline or whatever? So
you'd reach out to one of us. I mean, and then we just kind of figure out where you fit in as far as, you know, if you're best under which mentor. Like I'm a mentor, Audrey's a mentor. So Carly actually, you know, Carly and I connected and I was like, oh, you'd be perfect to work with Audrey. So I connected the two of them and they're just like so great together. So it's just nice to see, you know, there's so many different opportunities to partner with different people and find a place for yourself, you know, because everybody's different. So we just have a place for everybody.
I'm a huge EXP fan, if you didn't know. I love the KV Core platform. I love the world, and I think that's just kind of where we're going as a society in real estate. I think the fact that they've kind of eliminated the broker and allowed for other agents to basically be the broker is huge.
Well, it's a platform that makes sense if you want to build a team. You know, it's not. I hate the pyramid scheme and the recruiting thing because a pyramid is when one person at the top, you know, is making all the money. But this is literally, you know, wealth shared throughout every single agent in the brokerage, especially with stocks as well. So
the big difference that I always see too is like with the MLMs, it's okay. Lauren signs me up, I'm paying $300 a month. Lauren gets $100 of that $300, and that's where the money is. Where with this, it's transactions that are closed is where the profit's paid out of, not the $85 monthly fee that you're paying.
And, and the payment isn't taken out of your commission. It's like that's the difference is that
You're
you
paying
know,
it to the
Lauren's
broker
not-
anyway.
Exactly.
Yeah.
It's Lauren's, and with our team, we don't have team fees. Like every team is different. For us, we don't really have a legal team agreement, like where we take 10% or 30% or something. It's like good bang for your buck because you're getting all this mentoring and yeah, I help people with legal stuff. Like Christy had a easement question, and so I was able to help her and like put her in touch with Patrick
Yeah.
McQueen, who's a great real estate attorney. And
We just have a great collaborative group, and I would say because we
Mm-hmm.
don't actively recruit, we're a little selective about who we do bring in and kind of nurture, and so I think that's also a testament to why we have such a good group. And it's not recruiting; it's sharing opportunity, is what I always say. Because honestly, I think knowing that you have a cap, like you have the 16,000 cap and commission, you have an opportunity to earn the whole thing back. Like I iconed last year, I got all my 16,000 back in stock. There's so many passive streams of income. I think, if you're a producer or not a producer, there's opportunities for you to make money, right? So
I think that's really important what you said. Tell us about the icon agent and what that kind of entails.
So icon agent means you had 500,000 in gross commission income, or you did 20 transactions after you capped, and that can include rentals as well. So for anybody that's producing, I mean, you're basically at 100% brokerage. So, and you get stock rewards too with every, you can sign up for the rev share program. You can sign up for putting your commission into buying stock at 10% off. You can sign up for 5% of your commission to go towards that program. So it just makes sense. I mean,
so you're able to buy literally stock at a discount on all
Yeah.
of your closings.
Yep.
That's huge.
Yeah.
yeah, and I just want to say it's not too difficult to reach your cap, like 16,000, because if you do the math, like everyone is 80-20. It
Yeah.
doesn't matter if you're a new agent or you've been in this business 20 years. Being that it's 80-20, instead of some brokerages are like, you're 90-10 for life. And that sounds like you're making more money, but just remember 20%, you're going to, because it's higher amount, you're going to start paying that cap off sooner.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
I capped in 2.5 months.
'Cause
and
you're a
I
boss.
sold, she's more of a boss. We're working our way up. But I think I sold 7 houses, sold and bought like 7.
You just crush it. You have so many
but
closings.
I mean,
It's
really,
just
in 2.5
yeah.
months, like it's not like I had
Yeah.
to do,
No, you-
5 million in sales or,
But now
something
you're at
like that.
100%.
And now I'm at 100%. So
Feels amazing to see that
know,
whole check.
Yeah,
And
that's-
now we're going to work with Carly. She's killing it. You've already had 2 escrows at this point, right? And you just
one
started.
under contract.
I need to check my phone. I'm in a bidding war
Wait till you get
this
home.
morning.
Yeah, right?
Can I please just check this?
Just do it. Check it.
Oh, yeah.
Tell us.
Yeah,
No,
we're gonna
it's-
have
it's
like
right
30
there.
text messages
Yeah.
from our investors like after this thing.
Where the hell have you been?
You're like, where have you been?
The question you probably get asked all the time is, can this market continue? Where do you see the market going?
Carly, what do you think?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, everyone's coming here. Most of our buyers at this point are coming from California, and they just keep flooding this area, which is unfortunate for our buyers here. But I don't see that stopping anytime soon.
Inventory is low. I think that's the testament to what's happening, right? And then interest rates are still low. I think there's always going to be a market here because everybody is moving here from everywhere else. So if the market did change, it would change everywhere else first, and then we would be like our little sanctuary.
Yep.
So
I agree.
Yeah,
Yeah.
well, the positive too is that like where we're at is like supply and demand. I mean, the supply is low and the demand is high. And what people don't realize back in 2006 to 2008, the market crash, it was exactly the opposite. So it was an oversupply of homes and very low demand because no one could, they were giving mortgages to cats and dogs. So, we follow the market very closely. So actually home affordability is in the normal range. Like that's what the recent Cromford report said. So my advice to people is to just be careful what you read in the news and stuff because it's not explained properly and that you need to reach out to experts like us that actually are in the market. Like we get to see firsthand. There's a lot of building here too. Like look around. Like that's a good sign because when there's not building, that's when a lot of people are leaving the big cities. So they're suffering a little bit. They're still moving and shaking. But
and I'm buying properties, so obviously I have confidence.
I bought
in
a
the
property
market.
in March, and
Yeah.
people were like, "Don't buy right now," and I'm like, "I bought, you know what I mean?" And like,
Well,
think I
as
know what I'm
Grant
doing.
Cardone
Like, yeah.
says, if you're hanging on to something for a long time, then it doesn't really matter because a 10-year investment over, the chances of that going up are,
Yep. Buy real estate and
you
wait.
know,
Right.
yeah.
Exactly.
So if
Yeah.
you can rent it out, but he's always talking about location. Has to be, in a good location, you're always going to be fine if you can hang on to it
Yeah.
and at least rent enough to cover your payment, which at this point is, we're way above what the payment is. So
Yep. I agree. Where was I going to go next? Nope.
Golf?
Golf. Yeah, we're golfing on the
Bar-
16th.
Golf.
Bars?
Definitely golfing. You're coming. You're golfing in the 16.
Oh, yeah, I'm golfing.
I won't throw my back out this time.
I'm already saying I'm like an almost pro because a PGA guy I got a nice from a PGA, and I'm holding on to that.
You got a nice.
I
She's
got
feeling
a nice.
pretty good.
One
yeah.
time.
I still haven't golfed with you guys.
What?
By the way, that's our team Christmas sweater party,
What's that?
the 16th.
The 16th? Oh.
yes.
Yeah.
In the
So,
afternoon.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, we need to order some ugly sweaters
Some
on
ugly
Amazon.
sweaters.
She
That's just
introduced
my
me to
normal
Amazon.
wardrobe.
She's also my designer. Like people think I am great in style, but I'm like White House Black Market. She's like funky, and I'm like, you need to help me. Like, what belt do I wear with this? What
Collaborate.
shoes? And she literally, I was like, when I went on a date, I'm like, should I wear this? Like, we're gonna watch a game, whatever. And she's like, no, that's too baggy. You need to show off your body.
I was like,
and I was
girl,
like,
no.
this is why I'm single.
Girl, no,
She's like,
show
you
something
need-
up.
yeah,
She's like
you
showing up in like baggy sweats.
know, I'm like,
"Ooh."
I'm like, darn it. Like, yeah. So I like text her all the time. Like, what should I wear this outfit? So.
But I'm still single,
She's-
so like,
she's
has it
everything,
worked?
isn't it? Guys don't care about style.
Not because there's a shortage of options. It's because, you deserve
We're picky.
amazing.
We
and amazing
deserve
is
amazing.
someone,
Low, we just
it's
heard.
hard to
Supply is
find.
low.
Yeah.
There's a lot of like
Demand's
badass girls out there.
All right,
though.
I'm going to be their manager and I'll be accepting applications.
No, we're gonna set her up too.
Oh, no, I'm good.
she's got Lexi.
Upset.
I'm so, content.
We're content by ourselves if it's like, I'd rather I'm not gonna babysit somebody. I'm not gonna.
We need to run background checks.
Yeah,
on
we need to run
everybody.
back. Oh, I'm
But don't
I'm
on
good for
mine.
that. Like, I can find out if you have legal things against you. I can find out if you're divorced. I can find out if you're lying about, because I'm an attorney. So I'll just go on the Maricopa Superior Court website and I can type your name in there.
You're
I'm not
limiting
afraid.
your pool
I'm not
already.
afraid.
You guys heard
Right?
it
Like,
first.
they haven't been,
Yeah,
they
right.
haven't been
You're
to
like-
prison.
you're like-
Not my type.
You're like, don't go out with Audrey.
We're gonna do a
like,
background
I know,
check.
I know everything about you. It's cool. Like, we've all had a blast. Just
I'm having a blast.
I'm having
It
a blast.
sounds like we're all having fun.
It's,
Yeah.
we're
I have
all
no
having fun.
complaints.
It's every day I laugh. Every day I cry. Like,
Where can
you know.
everybody find you guys? If everyone
Yeah.
wants to follow you on social media and everything,
Yeah.
where can everyone find you guys?
Instagram's probably.
Instagrams are
We love
best.
Instagram. I'm Lauren.a.hunt.
I'm your agent, Audrey.
I'm Carly Nenn, real estate.
Awesome. Go follow these ladies on Instagram. They're doing amazing things out there, as you've heard. Thank you so much for joining me today.
Yeah, thanks, Braydon.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you, Braydon.
And stay tuned for another episode of Break It Down with Braydon.